All right, a very good morning to everyone. My apologies for the delay, but the Second Region Child Protection Court number one, Tyler County, is now in session. I believe we have one matter at 9, another at 10:30, both uh, virtual by agreement. I think we have all of the attorneys here, Ms. Walker, Ms. McPherson, Ms. Kinstall, Mr. Keating. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, all right. So, polling calls number E, we are only here for the youngest HC. So let me see if I believe I see the mother, Andrea Cortez. What about Hollis Wade Collins?
Judge, he had to work this morning and he was not able to get off because we set this hearing fairly quickly.
Okay,
And of course, that was at my request, so no complaints, and a big thank you to the
very good. Very good. All right, thank you. And so the mother is here. So let me know, Ms. Walker, is this agreed or contested? We're set for a show cause and also, I believe, respondent father's motion for monitored return.
Yes, Your Honor, and we had filed a motion to reset. I've visited with Ms. McPherson just a little bit this morning in regards to if we were to reset, I guess expanding the unsupervised visits and maybe weekends during the reset period until we can get a come back in for the hearing. Miss Hafford is not able to be here, and I think I kind of mentioned in the motion why that is. So at this point, we do not have an agreement, but willing to discuss what we can put in place or increase until we can have a hearing.
Okay. So
Your
I
Honor,
I've not seen that motion. So perhaps that can be emailed to both to Ms. Wallingford and to me directly. I can take a look at that. So let me know, Ms. Walker, and as much as your motion may include this, I don't know at this point, but has the reunification assessment been completed? In terms of what the evidence might show.
Your Honor, I'm not sure if it has or not. Ms. Young would probably be able to answer that question.
Okay, Ms. Young, I believe, has unmuted maybe to do so. So, Ms. Young, do you know whether that's been completed?
Has, Your Honor, both for Ms. Cortez and Mr. Collins.
Okay, it has.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. So we'll leave any results for later. But let me see if there is an agreement to reset, and let me know whether this is for one or both of the motions this morning, if there's an agreement. And I believe Mr. Keating has something as well to say.
Your Honor, I was going to maybe help short circuit it to some extent, and that's I have no problems with, and I did talk to the CASA worker, who I think is here, also with overnights. We've looked at pictures of the parents. They have a new apartment, by the way, which I know they were saying that they were going to be moving into.
Great.
It appears that they've got everything set up for the baby, and I don't have any.
Okay, I think you broke up and then became muted. I think you were saying I don't have any.
My internet, I don't have any issues with that. And I know my internet is back here in the office is not as good as it needs to be. I'm sorry, I'm working on that. Did any of that come through?
It did. Yes, thank you. So let me hear from Ms. McPherson and then Ms. Kinstall.
Yes, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I know my client would love to have her child returned home today. And that's what we thought we were working on today. But I also understand there might be some extenuating circumstances, maybe with the caseworker that came up at the end of yesterday. I would ask if that we reset this as soon as possible, Your Honor. But also start some overnight visits and some weekend visits, Your Honor. In the interim, if this case gets reset today.
Okay, thank you, Ms. McPherson. Ms. Kinstall, if I may hear from you, please. And Ms. Vargas, thank you.
We received notice yesterday that the caseworker is unavailable, and I appreciate that, and I understand that that might have just come to Ms. Walker's attention yesterday. However, I reached out and offered to see if the court could do this later in the morning to accommodate Ms. Hafford, the caseworker. No response. I don't want to agree to a reset unless we can announce a specific agreement for unsupervised overnight and weekend visits today, because we were ready to present. It sounds like we have the agreement of CASA and the ad litem for this child to start these visits. So if we reset it right now and then TFCN still doesn't agree, then we're right back at square one. So that would be my request, is perhaps we could go in a breakout room and try to hammer out some sort of agreement. But I guess I would also ask, Your Honor, if when would the court be available to come back on this?
Well, I could come back tomorrow. I could come back Friday as it stands. So, and I know, Ms. Kinstall, that your office, I believe you have an emergency virtual hearing at 10, and I'm aware of the request to move the Piercy matter from 10 to 10:30. I've done that, but I did not see a request to move this one.
Oh, no, sir. I didn't make the request of the court. I asked Ms. Walker if that was an option so that the caseworker could appear, and I received no response from TFCN.
Okay, so then
I wasn't clear. I'm sorry.
No, I must have misunderstood. But either way, Piercy's at 10:30 and not 10, yes? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, Ms. Walker, is Ms. Hafford available at 10:30 virtually today?
I believe Ms. Young is unmuted to answer that question, because I don't know, Your Honor. I'm only aware that if she missed this appointment again, it would be 2 more months before she would be able to get another one.
Okay, well, I don't want that to happen. Ms. Young.
Ms. Hafford took the entire day off so that she could ensure this appointment was done, and she had another appointment that she went ahead and made as well to knock it out on one day.
Well, with all due respect, Ms. Young, I'll ask the attorneys, why isn't Ms. Young good enough? My guess is, in your questioning of the caseworker, you're going to make overtures of calling her anyway. If the answer back, I have to staff this, yada, yada. So,
Judge, I think that Ms. Hafford has the actual knowledge and the visit information.
okay.
That's really
Well, that makes
what we need
sense.
here.
That makes sense in terms of how the unsupervised has gone heretofore.
And as I said, I don't think I have any trouble with overnights, but if you could put us all in maybe a breakout room and we could have a
I'll do
knockdown
that.
drag out.
I
And try
will,
not to come back bloodied.
I will do that. I will do that. So that would be the attorneys, and whom else do you need? Ms. Young and CASA, or you just want to do the attorneys?
Probably.
All right. So that's all the attorneys, Ms. Young and Ms. McGee. Yes?
Yes.
Yes, yes,
All
sir.
right. So you all stand by. The rest of you behave. By the way, we're on YouTube to maintain public access and open courts. So let me see if I remember how to open up a breakout room. So stand by.
And Your Honor, I would be available tomorrow at 9, and then I could be available maybe at 1:30 tomorrow. I have to bring my mother somewhere, and I'm also available Friday, if that helps the
Okay.
court for the
All right.
reset.
Okay. Well, hopefully, perhaps we won't need that, but thank you for that. Absolutely. So stand by. Ms. Vargas, if you are able to and don't mind, would you maybe text Ms. Walker and see how much more time they may need? Please, ma'am.
Of course.
Okay, thank you.
Judge Lockwood,
Yes, ma'am.
she said about 6 more minutes.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I guess you should say, Your Honor, we're back.
Welcome back. Okay, all right. So
We do
returning
feel like
to clause number
some of the kids in Connor.
27416. All right. Okay, so updated announcements, Ms. Walker.
Your Honor, at this time, I believe the announcement is that we have not been able to come to an agreement today, but would like to come back on Friday, I believe is the consensus.
Okay, what time, and is it in person or virtual?
I believe there's been a request for virtual.
Okay, virtual. If there are any objections to virtual, let me know at this time. Okay, what time did you all agree on?
I'm available anytime, but I believe the department.
Yeah, the afternoon, I believe. I think you have a aggravated circumstances hearing,
Oh,
or
that's
somebody does. Anyway.
Yes,
Yeah, Ashley.
Nicole, and for Polk County.
Okay,
In the morning.
okay, so Mr. Keating will have to cancel or be done with his round of golf.
I will.
So what time, Ms. Kenstall, 1:30, 12:01?
Could we do 1:30? I have a family group conference at 1. I can get someone to cover it because this is important that, I don't want to just sit there and be nitpicky about a 30-minute window of time. So
1:30 is fine with me.
1:30 is fine.
wonderful.
Okay. Would certainly I'm available and amenable to 1:30, but would 2 be better?
No.
2.
For me.
And it's
Right.
fine with me, Judge. I'm available all afternoon.
Ms. Young, are you saying no?
After the aggravated circumstances hearing, I was supposed to be off the rest of the day, so the earlier in the afternoon, the better, so that I can join my family, but I'll be available.
All right, so 1:45 it is.
And Your Honor, I understand that by policy, they're not supposed to provide us with the FRE assessment, but I'm asking that to be a court ordered that they provide the FRE assessment to the parties.
Before we
Has been
come back.
completed.
Okay, any objections to that, Ms. Walker?
I don't believe so. I didn't hear an objection to it other than that it would have to be court ordered
Okay.
at this time.
Well,
so.
I'm inclined to order it, but I would entertain any brief testimony or argument why I shouldn't at this time.
Unless Miss Young has something she wants to interject.
I don't have
Sorry.
an argument. Sorry, I wasn't sure if I could talk or not. They had asked for it, and I just said that it's considered part of the case record, so we would have to be ordered to supply that.
Okay, all right, thank you. So I will hereby order that. So having orally ordered it, let's don't wait for any written signed order. Go ahead and deliver that to the attorneys on the case, all three of the other attorneys. Okay, so what we are rolling over, what we are resetting to Friday the 16th are the father's motion for monitored return and the court's on motion for show cause why the child HC should not be immediately placed with his parents. So her parents, I'm sorry. Then anything else from anyone else?
Judge, I have one thing. I know when we were here last time, the parents were to begin having unsupervised visits on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I believe.
Correct.
I don't think the order is real clear. And tomorrow's Thursday. So do those visits continue until we come back for the hearing on Friday?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
And I remember a time was discussed, maybe 1:30 to 3:30 or something like that. I don't remember. I think we moved it 30 minutes because of Dad's job or something. So yes, they are to continue. So the more of those, the better, with an eye towards this hearing on Friday. Yes, absolutely. So
I know, Your Honor.
those shall continue until further order of the court.
Thank you.
From what I understand, they're scheduled. They have one today and tomorrow.
Okay, very good. Very good. And I think we had talked about maybe exercising there at what's the Galveston Hospital?
John Seeley?
John Seeley.
Yeah, on the second floor at John Seeley, I believe.
Okay, very good. All right. So then if there's nothing else, thank you all very much. Again, Friday, May the 16th at 1:45. And so we will be in recess until 10:30 then. Yes?
I'm not on the Piercy matter, am I correct?
I'm not on it anymore.
Okay, well, we'll see you all Friday afternoon at 1:45.
Sorry, Nicole.
No, it's okay. And Your Honor,
He's probably glad.
Just so the court's aware, I have to get on a Zoom for another county right now. But I'll come back just as soon as that's been resolved. That's the emergency approach.
We'll share.
Okay.
We'll share
Thank you
it.
so much.
Well,
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. See you
All right,
Friday.
so we'll be in recess until 10.
I finished my round of golf. Yeah, I
Okay,
wish.
can
I
you
wish
hear
I
me
could
okay?
Go.
Oh, you did. What'd you shoot? You don't know what to say.
I didn't get to play, unfortunately. I was working all morning.
I'm sure. Okay, let's see. Ms. Walker, Ms. Kinstall, Ms. McPherson, are we ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Judge.
Okay, very good. And Ms. Walker.
Yes.
Your Honor, may I ask who O'Neill Ahmed is?
My
That's a
guess
courtesy
is
worker?
it's
Okay, good.
placement. I'm not sure. Or the courtesy worker.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Judge. And Judge, let me
Okay.
apologize.
Ms. Walker, are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Pam.
You can hear me?
I
Okay.
could. Judge, are you having trouble hearing us? I think the judge is having problems, guys.
Oh.
He appears frozen. I was afraid I was going to end up doing that, but I may still do it, but they're working on getting me fiber optic, guys. That would be super nice. I sent him a chat, guys, to tell him that he wasn't able to hear us. I hope that's not ex parte.
Okay. Let's see if you all can hear me.
Yes.
Got you now, Judge.
We can hear you, Your Honor, but your screen is frozen.
Now we lost him. Oh, back again. But it still looks frozen.
Okay. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
What about now? Ms. Walker, can you hear me?
Yes. Okay,
if you all will, assuming you all can hear me, I believe I'm severely lagging.
Yes.
I'm on my third Wi-Fi number. Bear with me. All right, this seems to be the strongest, if not still unstable. So you all are a little more animated. Hopefully you can hear me. So somebody let me know you can hear me.
We can hear
I
you.
can.
And all right, so third time's a charm, I guess. Okay, calling cause number 2741. And I believe I see Ms. Cortez present. If you'll just unmute and announce your appearance, Alexandria Cortez.
I hear you, Judge.
Okay, thank you. And what about Hollis Collins?
He's at
Hollis
work until
Wade
2:30.
Collins. At work?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, with that, let me see if Ms. Walker is our hearing agreed or contested.
Your Honor, contested as far as I'm aware.
Okay. All right, so with that, and Ms. Kinsel, I have called for a show cause. I believe you also, maybe you and Ms. McPherson are asking for a monitored return. Is that correct?
Yes, Judge. I spoke with Ms. McPherson, and I understand that on the court's own motion, this is also set for a show cause, so it might make sense to do that part of the hearing first. And I had an ancillary question. I know that I had sent some exhibits, but I can't remember, even though it was only 2 days ago, whether I offered those. But I'll wait my turn.
Okay, I have, whenever we were here last couple of days ago, I did receive 2 sets of exhibits from my coordinator, a set from you and a set from Ms. McPherson. But I don't believe anyone has offered any, but I do have those if and when the time comes to consider.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. So with that, let me get everyone who may testify in this hearing to raise their hands sworn. So CASA, Mom, Ms. I believe Mr. Ahmed, Ms. Hafford, and perhaps Ms. Young. All right. So Ms. Young, if you can raise your right hand as well to be sworn. Okay. Mom, you as well. All right. Do you all swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Hafford, Ms. Young, Ms. McKee, Mom. All right. Thank you. With that, Ms. Walker, you may call your first.
I call Ms. Hafford.
Okay.
Would you go ahead and state your name, please?
Jasmine Hafford.
Okay. And how are you related to this case?
I'm the case manager on the case.
Okay.
And Ms. Hafford, you're not driving, correct?
No, sir, I'm parked. I pulled over.
Okay. Okay, very good. Thank you. Just making sure. I'm sorry, Ms. Walker, you may continue.
No problem. First of all, Ms. Hafford, how's the child Hollis doing?
She's doing good.
Is anything that in particular in regards to her feeding has changed or her condition at all?
No, everything is still the same.
Okay. And just as a reminder, what is her feeding requirements at this time?
Her bottle is mixed to a specific mixture. She is on a specific formula. I want to say Enfamil AR. I'm not off the top of my head. I'm not familiar at this moment. But she's fed on a schedule. Yeah, she's fed on a schedule.
Okay. And are there any, when she's feeding, are there any specific requirements as to a certain position or just, she has to be comfortable? What I guess physically needs to be done besides the particular formula, if anything?
She is set in an upright position and fed an ounce and then burped and then another ounce and then burped in between the ounces.
Okay. And how often?
Ma'am.
I said, how often was it again?
That she has to be she's burped after she drinks every ounce.
Okay. And then, but in between feedings, how long of a period of time is it?
I believe it's between 3 to 4 hours.
Okay. And now, do you know if she's sleeping through the night or what's her sleeping habits at this time?
I am unsure.
I'm sorry, you said you weren't sure? I didn't hear.
No, ma'am.
Okay, let me just ask one more time. No, ma'am, when you say that, you're not sure of what her sleeping habits are at this time?
Yes, ma'am. I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay. All right. Now, have you been able to observe any of the visits between her and her parents?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And do you have any concerns in regards to, I guess, the parents' actions at the visits?
During the visit, mom stated that she did not have diapers at the time. She hadn't been able to hadn't purchased any. But other than that, the visit went well.
Okay. So how many visits have you been able to observe?
I believe 2.
Okay. And any other concerns during the 2 visits that you were able to observe?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Are there any other, I guess, requirements from, I guess, the doctor in regards to what her care is at home, besides the particular formula and the amount that she gets fed at a time?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. Now, the parents have started, you said you were able to observe at least 2 visits, and the parents have started unsupervised visits. Do you have any concerns in regards to those unsupervised visits?
I have not made the transport during any of those visits.
Okay. Has there been any concerns brought to your attention or anything that you're aware of that have occurred under those during those unsupervised visits?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And
Objection to any hearsay, Your Honor.
what type
Unless
of
she has personal
concern?
knowledge.
Well, the question, so sustained as to any hearsay, but the question also asked about anything she's observed. So anything she's observed, anything the parents have told her.
No, the parents have not. The parents have not had any discussion with me about the visits.
Okay. And when the child is returned, have there been any concerns from the placement?
Again, objection to any hearsay, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Well, so at this time, would you say that, would you recommend that the unsupervised visits continue?
Yes.
Okay. And now I believe they're asking for a monitored return of the baby. Do you recommend that at this time?
No, ma'am.
And why not?
I believe there are many factors that we have not addressed as far as the child, daycare, stability. I know that the parents have recently obtained their own housing. However, they have just got that housing. And so that is also a concern.
And I believe they also recently have become employed. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And have they provided you with any pay stubs or any proof of income at this time?
No, ma'am. I've only gotten the work schedule.
Okay. And what is the work schedule?
It varies week by week.
Okay. And to your knowledge, between the parents, based on the work schedules, would there be supervision for one of them uh, taking care of the child while the other one works, or they're both working at the same time?
You kind of went in and out, Ms. Walker, so I did not hear the question all the way.
Okay, on my end, it's saying unstable network connection. I don't know if anybody else is, it might just be mine. What I was saying was, are the parents themselves able to provide child care for the baby?
They have not made me aware of any child care.
Okay. So if the child were to be returned, or the baby would be returned today, even on a monitored return, there's been nothing that's been provided to you as far as the care of the child.
Correct.
Okay. And would that be a concern if you have not been provided that information?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, there's also, I guess, a courtesy worker. Do you have contact with the courtesy worker?
I have not spoken with him since I asked him to go out and see the parents.
Okay. So you have not received anything from him in regards to care of the child?
No, ma'am.
I'm sorry, was there something I was supposed to see that was coming across the screen there?
Well, the court is going to ignore the chat. I assume that everyone sees it, but let's don't be chatting about anything that might be asked under oath and when you testify. Go ahead, Ms. Walker.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Wait till you're called.
All right. So I believe you were saying that you have not had a chance to speak with him other than early on. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. What at this time do you feel that's in, or the department or network feels, I guess at this time, is in the best interest of the child?
After staffing with my supervisor, we discussed weekend visits with the parents.
Okay. So in other words, a build up to a monitored, a step up plan to a monitored return?
Correct.
Okay. And now, right, how many unsupervised visits have there been? I know you said that you've observed 2, or you've been able to observe 2 visits, I guess, with the parents, but how many unsupervised visits have there been?
Oh, I would have to look at a calendar. Give me just a second.
Okay, Ms. Hadford, you can, of course, refresh your memory, but don't read from it out loud.
Oh, no, I was just looking at a calendar to see what dates they had visits. I believe it has been about 5.
Yeah.
5 unsupervised.
And now with the 5 unsupervised visits, and I believe you said you've not gotten any word back or any, I guess, complaints or concerns during those visits. At this time, would you say that they are ready or not to have the unsupervised weekend visits?
After staffing with my supervisor, we have discussed that the weekend visits would be fine.
Okay, so weekend visits starting immediately, basically, or the next visit would be a weekend visit?
Not this weekend. We could start maybe next weekend.
Okay. And when you say weekend, is there a certain time on Friday to a certain time on Sunday?
Yes, ma'am. My supervisor and I discussed Friday at 1:30 to Mondays at 1:30.
Okay. So even past Sunday, so from Friday to Monday.
Yes, ma'am.
And how many of those visits would you like to see where there's no concerns, no issues before a monitored return?
I would have to refer that to my supervisor. I am sure.
Yeah. Anything else you want to make the court aware of at this time?
Objection calls for a narrative.
Overruled.
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. McPherson.
Yes, and I apologize if my voice is kind of rough today. So what you're recommending is not called a monitored return, and it's not called a transitional monitored return, but the department network is wanting to start some unsupervised, basically Friday from 1:30 to Monday 1:30 every weekend.
My supervisor and I did not discuss if it would be every weekend, but we did discuss the weekend visits.
And why would they not happen this weekend, even if it's later on today?
I am unable to provide the transport for today.
If there was someone else to be able to provide the transportation today, could they start?
I would have to refer that to my supervisor.
And as far as you know, so I know that there are 3 doctor's appointments that are scheduled. Is that correct for Baby Hollis?
For the month of June, yes.
And only one of those is off the island, correct?
I am unaware.
Okay. Well, you know there's 3.
I'm sorry, Michelle, could you repeat your question? I didn't
I
understand.
asked her if she was, I can't remember exactly how I asked it, but if 2, I wanted to find out if 2 of the 3 doctor's visits for June are on the island, meaning Galveston Island.
I am unaware where they are located at this time.
Would you agree with me that if they're on the island of Galveston, there's no issue with transportation, correct? For the parents to get to the doctor's visit and bring.
I'm unaware.
Okay. Well, that was one of the major issues you had the last time was transportation, correct?
Correct.
And have they provided you a transportation plan?
No, ma'am.
Never. They've never provided you a transportation plan.
No, ma'am.
Okay. And you provided them with information about some other transportation ideas, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And it sounds like the main thing for Hollis right now is, do you know what her follow-up visits are for?
At this moment, no, ma'am.
And you understand that although they just became into this new residence, they've been in a residence since December of 2024, correct?
That they've been in a residence since December? Correct.
Okay.
Well, was the question since December?
Well, they've been in the same residence from December of 2024 until this new residence, correct?
As far as I'm aware.
So at this end, you're not aware of how many weekend visits there should be before, from your network's point of view, before it's considered a monitored return. Is that fair to say? You have to staff that with your supervisor.
That is correct.
And I think according to their work schedule, you've received both mom's and dad's work schedules, correct?
This week, I only received mom's. I have not received one from dad lately.
Do they work? So you know how some parents work the night shift, one parent will work the day shift. So there's always somebody available to watch a child. Is that the situation here, if you are aware?
I am unaware.
Your Honor, I'm going to reserve some questions, but I'm going to pass her as a witness and go through my notes.
All right, thank you, Ms. Kinstall.
Thank you, Judge. All right. Ms. Halberd, have you reviewed the photos that Ms. McPherson and I shared with everyone on Wednesday by email?
No, ma'am.
You didn't think that was important coming into a hearing like this to
I
see
was-
pictures? Let me finish my question. See pictures of the parents' home that you haven't even visited yet? Was that not
Was off on
important?
Wednesday.
I'm sorry, what was your answer?
I was
I'm
off.
object to that question, Your Honor, as it being argumentative.
If there, I can rephrase, Your
overruled.
Honor. Okay, well then I won't
Okay.
rephrase. Is it not important for you as the case manager to view photos of the parents' home when these hearings are set today, since you have already testified that you did not visit this home?
Can you re-ask that question, Ms. Kinsel?
Okay, you testified that you haven't been to the parents' new apartment, correct?
Correct.
And you've now testified that you haven't even reviewed the photos that were provided of the parents' apartment, correct?
Correct.
And we were set for hearing on Wednesday, 2 days ago, right?
There was a hearing on Wednesday, yes, ma'am.
Okay, and that was reset because you were not available, right?
I am unaware if that's the reason why it was reset.
Well, did you have an appointment on Wednesday morning?
I was off on Wednesday. Yes, ma'am, I was off.
Why didn't you review the photos of the parents' home in preparation for a hearing of this magnitude?
I was off on Wednesday, and on Thursday I was traveling all day for another case.
What did you do this morning?
I was in a aggravated circumstances trial.
It started at 10:30, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what did you do before the aggravated circumstances hearing in Polk County at 10:30?
I staffed with my supervisor.
This case?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know if the courtesy worker in Galveston County has visited the parents' home?
I'm unsure.
Have you talked to the courtesy worker in this case?
When I initially asked to talk with him about going to see the parents.
Okay, I don't understand. So yes or no, have you talked to the courtesy worker?
Not lately.
Okay, when did you talk to him?
I do not have the exact date in front of me.
Okay, when you say not lately, did you talk to him before or after he went to the parents' new apartment?
Before.
Do you know if your supervisor has talked to the courtesy worker at any time?
I am unaware.
Okay. Now you said mom told you that she doesn't have any money to buy diapers. Was that your testimony?
Correct.
Okay. And you haven't reviewed the photos of the apartment, right?
No, ma'am.
And one of your concerns is that this child has to have formula that's mixed according to a certain ratio with water. Is that correct?
Can you rephrase that question, Ms. Kinsel?
I can repeat it.
Repeat it. That's fine.
Is it your testimony that one of your concerns is that this child, sorry, I didn't mean to use the name, needs to be fed formula that is mixed with water according to a certain ratio?
No, ma'am.
Okay, well, did you not testify that the formula has to be mixed?
It does.
Okay. And was that not in the context of you talking about this child's feeding needs?
I have observed mom mixing a bottle before, so there were no concerns with her mixing a bottle.
Okay, good. And the baby has to be fed every so often, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And the baby has to be burped?
Correct.
And these are your concerns based on your observations of parent-child visits, that a baby needs to be burped and fed?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so why go through all that line of testimony? What was the purpose of you informing the court of all that?
Those are not our current concerns within the network.
Then why even bring it up?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to that. I believe she was answering questions at that time.
Okay, the court recalls. I recall her concerns being daycare, stability, and the fact that the parents both got new jobs.
Oh, I'll move on, Your Honor. Okay, so this is a show cause hearing that we're in right now. So if the court was to return the baby to mom and dad, would CPS have a say in who they use as babysitters at that point?
Yes.
If the child is returned home, end of case for that child.
I am unaware.
Have you asked the parents what would your child care arrangements be if this child was in your care full time?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So do you agree that you can't really hold that against if you didn't even ask, right?
I am unsure.
Do you have any reason to believe that what the parents are saying about their alternating work schedules is somehow untrue?
I am unsure.
Mom's here at the hearing, right? Right now?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you hear mom say that? Well, there's dad. Welcome. Did you hear mom say earlier that dad is at work until 2:30?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. On transportation, mom and dad use public transportation at times, right?
I am unsure.
How are you? How are you unsure? You've never seen them arrive for a visit in a bus, a public bus?
No, ma'am.
Okay, because you've only observed 2 visits, right?
Yes.
Okay. Have the parents told you that they also use Uber to get around?
Yes.
The parents don't have their own car at this time, right?
Not to my knowledge.
If CPS encounters a family that doesn't have a private car, is that standing alone? Does that constitute endangerment to the child?
Not to my knowledge.
Baby's covered by Medicaid right now, right?
Correct.
Did you know that Medicaid will provide transportation to doctor's appointments?
I am unaware.
The parents have been exercising their visits at the hospital, right?
Correct.
So they managed to get to a medical provider, did they not? Even if it was not for the purposes of medical care?
Correct.
Do you have any reason to believe that mom and dad would not continue to qualify for Medicaid on behalf of this child if CPS was out of this case?
I am unsure.
Well, you said you don't have any proof that they're working, right?
Other than their schedule.
Okay. And is it your understanding that Medicaid is income-based?
Yes.
Did mom tell you where she works?
Yes.
Where does she work?
She stated that she works for Starbucks inside of Randall's.
Did she tell you how much she makes at Starbucks?
No, ma'am.
Did you ask her?
No, ma'am.
Was she a manager?
I am unsure.
What about dad? Did he tell you where he works?
Yes, ma'am.
And where does he work?
He works at Ollie's,
What is Ollie's?
a discount store.
Okay. Did dad tell you how much he makes?
No, ma'am.
Did you ask?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So is it CBS position today that overnight, weekend, unsupervised visits are okay with mom and dad? Are okay for
Yeah.
mom and dad?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but not a monitored return.
Correct.
Do you know what a transitional monitored return is?
No, ma'am. Not off the top of my head.
How long have you been a case manager?
I believe I'm coming up upon a year.
Okay, did y'all do the reunification packet for mom and dad as to the baby?
Yes, ma'am.
And Judge, I can't remember. I guess I have a question for the court now. I thought CBS was ordered to provide the reunification assessment to us, but I might be confusing my cases.
That's right.
Your Honor, I was going to raise the same issue because I never received one.
I didn't get anything.
Me neither.
The court did order that, whether it was approved or not. And I believe the testimony, or at least the statement from the supervisor Wednesday, was that it had been done.
Yes.
The assessment, not that it had been disseminated to you all. We didn't get that far, but that it had in fact been done. So my guess is it's on its way to you all as we speak.
I'll keep checking.
I think I am confusing my cases because I know, Judge, that in another case you ordered CBS to turn that over. But but it may not have been this case, so.
It was this case.
It was this case, Nicole. He did order that.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So my question, Ms. Hubbard, is why hasn't the reunification assessment been provided to council as ordered by Judge Lockwood?
I am unsure.
Would your supervisor know?
I would refer to her.
So CPS is recommending unsupervised weekend visits starting at 1:30 p.m. on Fridays. You don't know which Fridays, you don't know if it's every other Friday, but that was your testimony, 1:30, right?
Yes, ma'am. 1:30 on Friday.
What time did
Fridays.
this hearing start today?
I believe 1:45.
Did that factor into your recommendation in any way to have the visit start at a time that had already passed today?
No, ma'am. It was a decision on my supervisor, or with my supervisor.
Okay, but you agree that if the court was to adopt CPS's recommendation and proposed schedule, then these parents wouldn't get to start unsupervised overnight weekends until at least another 7 days, right?
Correct.
What would CPS like to see these parents do beyond what they've already done before CPS would be comfortable with a transitional or full monitored return?
Maintain the stability.
How long do they need to maintain their stabilities?
I would have to refer that to my supervisor.
You said there's 3 doctor's appointments in June. Is that correct? And those are for baby, right?
Correct.
And did you mention that because CPS is concerned that the parents might have difficulty getting the baby to those 3 appointments?
The question was asked to me.
About the appointments.
Correct.
Okay, so you knew, or you know that there are 3 appointments coming up next month for doctors, right?
Correct.
Do you know which days those are scheduled for?
Not off the top of my head, no, ma'am.
Do you know what time those appointments are scheduled for?
Not at the moment.
I think you already testified that you don't know even the purpose of those doctor's appointments that you say they have, right?
I don't know the location. I believe that it is a complex care appointment, a follow-up for a monthly checkup, and one other appointment.
Okay. I would object to speculation, Judge. She said, I believe. It's just, if you know.
Okay. Sustained.
CPS is concerned about parents' ability to transport this child to doctor's appointments and otherwise. True or false?
True.
So why would you not have the specifics of these doctor appointments that you say are coming up when we're having a hearing over this?
I am unsure.
Do you think it would be helpful for the court to know the particulars of those appointments in making his decision today?
Yes, ma'am. If given the opportunity, I can look up what they're for.
Okay. And I bet you mom would know, right? She knows when those appointments are, right?
I'm unsure.
Well, have you told her?
I cannot recall.
You agree mom and dad have a right to receive medical information about their daughter, right?
Correct.
Is that not something that you're in the habit of sharing with the parents?
Yes, ma'am. Parents have been attending the visits via Zoom for the previous ones.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ms. Hoppert. I'll pass the witness.
All right, thank you, Mr. Keating.
Your Honor, I'm going to preface everything by saying I'm frustrated. And I would imagine the court would be too, because we continued this hearing to today to allow Miss Hafford to be here. And all I'm hearing is I'm unsure and I don't know. So I'm sorry. It's frustrating.
Have you all gotten the reunification assessment?
Not
No,
yet, Your Honor.
Okay.
I've got
And
Outlook
Ms.
open.
Hafford, Ms. Hafford, do you have access to it where you can forward it in real time to the attorneys?
Not at this moment. No, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, I trust somebody is working on that. And let's see if Mr. Keating has any questions of Ms. Hafford.
I do, Your Honor. Ms. Hafford.
Okay, you may.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Hafford, when was the last time you spoke with these parents?
I spoke with Miss Cortez through text message yesterday about the baby's feeding.
Yeah, I think I got a copy of that text message too. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
And there isn't any problems that she's having right now with feeding the baby. And that answer would be yes or no, to your knowledge.
Can you repeat the question, Mr. Keating?
Is the mother having any problems feeding the baby?
No.
Thank you. Does the mother have any problems handling HC?
No.
She has 2 other children, right?
Correct.
And I would assume that they would have had to been babies at one time also, correct?
Correct.
I understand that this baby has some medical concerns or had some medical concerns initially, but it appears that those concerns are being mostly alleviated. Is that correct?
Correct.
Have these parents done everything that you have asked of them to do?
Yes.
Thank you for that frank answer. You understand that part of this hearing today is on the court's motion for show cause as to why a monitored return should not be made, don't you?
Yes, sir.
It's not just the motion filed by the parents' attorneys, correct?
Yes, sir.
So tell me why HC should not be returned to the parents on a monitored return, not dismissing the case, but on a return that you guys, that the network would continue to monitor to make sure that he's okay. Tell me why that shouldn't happen today.
As I stated previously, after staffing with my supervisor this morning, we talked about every weekend, in which initially we talked about just weekend, but I just texted with her a few minutes ago, every weekend, unsupervised weekends with the baby.
So could we start that with this weekend?
I am unable to provide the transportation for this weekend, so I am unsure if that will be able to start this weekend.
What if we could get a courtesy worker, Mr. Ahmed, to take care of that? Would you think that would help?
I would have to refer that to my supervisor.
I'm just trying to find a way to get it done. If the court were to order, I'm sure that if the court orders it, you will be able to get it done. But Your Honor, I'm going to pass the witness. I'm not going to be able to ask questions correctly, I'm afraid.
All right, thank you. Back to you, Ms. Walker.
If the baby were to be returned home, what would, and I guess the court would determine that there should be a monitored return, what would the department be recommending as far as the other two children?
Objection relevance.
I believe it is relevant. They're part of this case.
That's not what's set for
Well, I'm gonna overrule, but we don't need to linger. I think the motion is only as to HC, and unless the goals have changed. So go ahead. You may answer that question. Do you need it again?
Yes, sir. I didn't hear it.
There's been a lot of. Okay, we've talked a lot since the question was asked. So go ahead one more time, Ms. Walker, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. I said if the court ordered that it was that the baby should be returned to the parents, whether it's a monitored return or returned back to the parents, what would the recommendation be as far as the other two children?
To remain at their current placement at this time.
Okay. And are there why would there be that recommendation at this time? If the parents, I guess, are able to have a child returned to them?
We have not discussed moving the children. They are doing well in their placement at this time. They are getting into a routine and things of that nature.
Okay. All right, I'll pass the witness.
Okay, thank you, Ms. McPherson. Any other questions of Ms.
Well, I guess since the door was opened, as to the other two, would you be recommending for them to start some unsupervised visitations with the parents?
I would have
If
to
there
staff.
was a monitored return home of the alcoholics or a transitional.
I would have to staff that with my supervisor.
Your Honor, I believe that's all the questions I have. Wait.
All right. Okay,
wait
thank
one
you.
second,
Thank
sorry.
you. Ms. Kinstall? Any other questions of Ms. Hafford?
I'm so sorry, Judge. I was clicking it and it wouldn't unmute me. Yes, sir. Ms. Hubbard, is the fact that a child is getting into a routine a reason not to reunify that child with his or her parent?
I am unsure.
Is the fact that a child is doing well in their placement a reason not to reunify that child with his or her parent?
I am unsure.
I'll pass the witness. Thank you, Judge.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keating. Ms. Walker, any other questions of Ms.?
I do want to say I believe that we have just now received the reunification assessment, Your Honor. At least I have.
All right. Okay, very good.
I don't have any
Let me,
questions, and I haven't gotten it yet.
All right. Thank you. Any other questions, Ms. Walker? If not, you may call your next, if any.
I guess, Your Honor, it was sent to your old email, Mr. Keating.
Of course. Okay. Not the dfkeatinglaw@gmail.com, huh?
No.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what, Your Honor, I kind of got
Any
trapped.
other? Yes. Any other questions of Ms. Hafford? If not, you may call your next, if any.
I call Ms. Young.
All right.
Sorry, let me see if I can figure out how to turn my camera on.
Well, just let me know that you were sworn in, Ms. Young.
Okay, yes, sir, I was. I'm also
Okay,
in my
very good.
car.
You can keep. Okay, well, just make sure you're not driving, right?
No, sir, I pulled over to send the reunification assessment.
Okay, thank you. So, if you can start your video, that's fine. If not, we'll let Ms. Walker go ahead. We certainly recognize you.
Okay.
Would you go ahead and state your name, please?
Ashley Young.
And how are you related to this case?
I am the case manager supervisor.
Now, you heard the testimony of Ms. Hafford, is that correct?
Yes.
And I believe she stated that she staffed with you as to, in regards to a plan to reach a monitored return for the baby Hollis. Is that correct?
Correct.
And the plan or proposed plan was there to be some weekend visits prior to a monitored return. Did you discuss when those visits were to start and how often they would be? Every weekend, every other weekend?
They will occur every weekend. We did not specifically decide on when they would start, basically just because of transportation issues.
And now what have been the, and doesn't have to be a very long explanation, but are there transportation issues, I guess, with the network's ability to transport?
I don't want to call it issues all the time, but because of the distance of where the baby is and where we are, it's at least 3 hours. So I can't do it today. Jasmine can't do it today. We can see if there's an FSS available to transport. There are transporting team, sorry. But they've already canceled another visit for another case because they were short. So I don't know that there was anyone available.
Okay. So the way I'm trying to ask this as a question, the way the transportation is set up, there's a different group that provides the transportation and you make the request to the transportation group?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And how is it determined in regards to, for lack of a better word, priority or you know, do you have to have, is it certain types of cases that are priorities, or is it when the requests come in that makes it a priority? Like first come, first serve?
It's pretty much a first come, first serve. I can't remember the exact day of when they start scheduling for the next month. So it's whatever case manager has put in the requests first or the earliest. They usually get more assistance with their visits than the case managers that do them last minute.
Okay. And so in order to, well, let me ask this, or when would the request have to be put in for the weekend visits, for transportation for weekend visits to start in this case?
I mean, we can send the request today, but I'm not sure how far they're scheduled out. If someone is available that day, then that's wonderful. They can help us transport.
Okay. And you said that the frequency was going to be every weekend. Now, would that be every weekend for 2 months or just every weekend for a month and then ready to take the next step if there were no issues during the 1 month period of the weekend visits?
I would typically say if there's no issues, no concerns going on, then after about 2 or 3 weekends, we could either come back for an ordered monitor return or just have an agreement that after those 2 to 3 visits, then a monitored return starts.
Okay. Any chance of a visit starting, well, I believe you said you can make the request, but even if you made the request, is it realistic that they would be able to transport today?
To be honest, it's not very realistic because it's about 3 hours from us one way.
Okay. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Right. Thank you, Ms. McPherson.
Okay, so from what I understand is you're talking about now start every weekend, Friday at 1:30 to Monday at 1:30. If it goes well for 2 to 3 weeks, then either an agreement or come back to court for an official monitored return. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Excuse me.
And is that partly based on that the unsupervised visits have been going well?
Yes, and they have stable housing. They are making progress. We just have those few little concerns, maybe mainly who's going to be the caregiver if an emergency caregiver is needed.
So, and now, so you are tested that they do have stable housing, correct?
They now have an apartment. Yes, we just hope that it remains stable. Yes.
Okay, because I'm looking over the reunification assessment that I just got, and one of the main things on there was the stable housing. Is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
Because everything else, it was lower moderate for reunification risk. The visits have been acceptable. And that was the main issue, correct? Was the housing.
On the assessment, yes.
And that would be for both mom and dad, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay. And in there, it also mentioned that they didn't have any diapers or formula. They couldn't afford it. Have you been able to review the photos that we provided?
Yes, I have.
And did you notice that there were diapers and formula and everything else that's needed that you could tell for the baby?
Yes, I saw 2 packs of diapers under what looked like to be a changing table, and then I believe 2 cans of formula on the kitchen counter.
So that's another concern that was on the FRE but is no longer a concern, correct?
It's not a current concern as long as that can be maintained, that they're able to get those items.
But you've heard the testimony that they are both employed, correct?
Correct.
But you don't know their work schedules either, do you?
No, ma'am.
How soon could you run background checks when they provide you with the name and a driver's license of somebody?
I mean, it typically takes just a few minutes to get that person and all their information added to the case. As long as they've lived within Texas, it's pretty quick.
Okay. So if I sent you something during this hearing, would you be able to come back before the hearing might be over?
No, ma'am. I'd pulled over to do the reunification assessment. I'm actually supposed to be on vacation today, so it would be Monday.
Okay.
I do have a staff support specialist. She's my admin. We could send the information to her and ask her to add them to the case and run it if she's available.
When would you know if she's available?
I would have to text her or call her.
Okay.
Ms. McPherson, why don't you forward that information to Ms. Young
I will, Your Honor.
and
I'll do
or
that
Ms.
right
Hafford?
now. Well, I will. How about I pass the witness for right now, and I can send that out to them. I'll send it to everybody, Your Honor, just so that it's everybody knows.
Okay. Okay. So Ms. Young. All right. Okay, Ms. Kinstall.
Thank you, Judge. I'm sorry, what is Ms. McPherson sending?
Oh,
I
sorry.
believe a proposed emergency contact.
Okay.
I received I received a driver's license from my client, and it's someone that has an emergency kind of backup.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm sorry, I'm having trouble hearing. My internet's cutting in and out, and then my computer is running very hard because I've been on Zoom all day. So, all right, Ms. Young. What is the danger to this child, if any, if the court returns the baby to mom and dad today?
I don't know that there's any immediate dangers. We just need to make some clarifications on the emergency caregivers, and I hope that they maintain the stability that they have right now.
We don't have a crystal ball, do we?
Correct. No, unfortunately.
Let me ask you some questions about the reunification assessment that you just sent everybody. It lists that the parents had what you call excellent compliance with the visitation plan, right?
I believe so, yes. I don't have it pulled up in front of me right now, but I can pull it back up.
Well, did you stop it with Ms. Hafford this morning?
No, we didn't specifically talk about the reunification assessment, no.
Parents haven't missed a single visit with the baby, have they?
I don't believe so, no.
The reunification assessment, it's like a risk assessment, essentially, right?
For the most part, yes.
Okay. And they haven't had any reason to believe findings since the last time around, right?
Correct.
And your assessment says that parents demonstrating new skills and behaviors consistent with desired outcomes. Is that correct?
Yes. I'm trying to read through it in here. Yes, I believe so.
And what is the final risk level that you assigned?
Sorry, let me get to the correct one.
And I'm asking because based on your document, it looks like the final risk level is for all three of the children, right? You don't have it broken down into, well, here's our risk level for the baby and here's our risk level for the middle child and so forth, right?
Correct. We did, well, for Mr. Collins, it should just be for the baby. But then Miss Cortez, it should have all three. Yes.
Okay, so what is the final risk level for these three children?
For baby Hollis or for all three children?
Let me ask it a different way. You don't have the risk level differentiated between children in this assessment, do you?
No.
Okay.
Not for Miss Cortez's reunification assessment.
Right. So then when you have a final risk level, you're talking about all three kids for Miss Cortez, correct?
Correct.
So what is that risk level?
Let me get back to it. Sorry, I'm switching back and forth between the assessments.
You don't know off the top of your head?
No, ma'am, I don't. I don't have them all memorized. So are you asking for the safety decision?
I'm asking for the final risk level. It's on your form, page 2 at the top. The choices are low, moderate, high, and very high.
It is moderate.
Okay, so if I asked you what in your view as the supervisor, in this case, is the risk level for just the baby, would it be the same or different from that moderate risk level that you've assigned for all three kids as to mom?
It would be the same. I didn't assign that level though. When we make selections in here, it populates that for us.
I understand that. And that's based on the information that you put into your little system, right?
Correct.
So why in your view, Ms. Young, is it a moderate instead of a low level of risk for the baby? I mean, I don't care what the computer says. What do you say?
They just moved into that apartment, I believe Sunday or Monday of this week. So there's not much stability there. Also, again, the emergency caregivers, which I believe I just received the information from Miss McPherson.
Okay, but no one asked the parents for emergency caregivers, right? Until just now, today?
Correct.
So we can't fault the parents for not providing something that they weren't asked for, right?
Correct.
Okay, Ms. Young, I think you testified to Ms. McPherson's line of questioning that you've reviewed the photos of the apartment that the parents are residing in now. Is that correct?
Yes.
Do they appear to have all the baby items that they would need for this particular child, HC?
Yes.
Have you also reviewed the lease that the parents provided?
Yes.
Judge, I don't have any more questions for Ms. Young. I did want to offer the exhibits that I previously submitted, and just in the interest of time, I mean, I don't want to have to call mom and say, did you take these pictures, and you know, all that, if there's no objection.
Let's see, does Ms. Walker has had them? Yes. Any objections to? And how are they labeled, Ms. Kinstall?
Yes, sir. So
Respondent for those.
Dad's exhibit A is the lease. Dad's exhibit
Okay.
B is the photo of the baby items. And then Dad's exhibit C constitutes photos of the parents' apartment.
A photo or photos?
Photo.
Photos, it's multiple. I can tell the court just a second. I'll tell you how many pictures there are. Nine photos.
Okay, so C contains 9 photos.
Yes, Your Honor.
Of the apartment, essentially. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And-
Okay, bear with me. Okay, we'll get to yours, Ms. McPherson, next. Any others, A, B, and C, for respondent father? There's Ms. Kinstall.
No, sir. Those are the only exhibits I have.
I have no objection, Your Honor.
Okay, let me see. Okay, no objections. Ms. Walker, any objections to respondent fathers A, B, or C?
I believe she said they were the baby items, I believe, was at the changing stand with the diapers, and then the counter with the formula. Are those 2 of those? 'Cause I don't have them in front of me.
I think the photos that Ms. Walker's referring to are included in Dad's proposed exhibit C apartment photos. And I sent this to Ms. Walker on Wednesday, but I can resend it to everybody if anyone wants it at the top of their email. And didn't, otherwise look at the photos to prepare for the hearing today.
I mean, I looked at the photos, but I can't tell you exactly which photo is included with which group. I've seen the ones that I just
Okay,
described, and I've seen other ones.
Resend those.
Okay.
Resend those, if you will, please, Ms. Kinstall, also Ms. McPherson.
Yeah, and I think Ms. Walker's confusing my exhibits with those of Ms. McPherson, because mine are in PDF, and exhibit C constitutes 9 photos that are all consolidated into one PDF. So let me resend them.
And I believe, Ms. Kinstall, if I'm not correct, those included the ones that I had said previously as respondent moms, correct?
Yes, ma'am. I got those photos from you, from the courtesy worker.
Okay, so, and you're moving for their admission, Ms. Kinstall?
I'm sorry, I don't know why my video is off. No, there we go again. Yes, sir.
Okay, Ms. Walker, any objections to Dad's exhibit A? Did Ms. Walker freeze?
Sorry, I keep losing my losing my screen, going back and forth.
Okay, and you probably answered this already, but I didn't hear you. Any objections to respondent father's A?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
No.
All right, so respondent, so any objections, chime in now. All right, so father's A is hereby admitted without objections. What about father's B?
I have no objections.
No objection.
Okay,
No
father's B
objection.
is hereby admitted without objections. All right, thank you. And father's C, which I think are 9 apartment photos, as I understand it, constitute father's C. Any objections to father's C?
No,
No
Your Honor.
objection.
No objection.
Okay, all right, so thank you. Father's C is hereby admitted without objection. So the court will return to that email from the coordinator, and I will look at those. Any objections? Ms. McPherson, are you offering yours at this time?
Your Honor, they're the exact same photos that would have been constitute the respondent father C, the 1 through 9
Okay.
photos.
All right, so
Miss McPherson,
Yes, ma'am.
the email that you sent, it says the file is unsupported. Is there another way you can send it, or maybe just type out the name, address, driver's license number, date of birth?
I can do whatever one works the best way. I will do that now.
Okay,
I can
whichever.
also, can I send you the screenshot and then include it in an email? That way you'll get it faster.
Yes, ma'am, that works.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
all right, so the court has had an opportunity to look at the father's admitted exhibit. So any other questions, Ms. Kinstall?
No, Your Honor. I was
Let-
wondering if we could take a short break because my children just got home from school and it's a little chaotic. I just need 2 minutes to situate them, and then I can come right back.
Okay, so let's take a 5-minute break. Did you say a few minutes, 2 minutes?
2.
Okay, so let's come back at 3:20, and when I come back, I need to very quickly hear from Mr. Ahmed and from Ms. McGee. So we'll be in recess until 3:20. Don't forget to mute your devices. All right, I believe we are all back. So any other questions for Ms. Young, Ms. Walker,
Your
Ms. Pearson, Ms. Kinstall, Mr. Keating?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. So Ms. Walker, you may call your next.
I have no further witnesses at this time.
All right. So Ms. McPherson, you may call your first.
Your Honor, you mentioned before break that you wanted to hear from Ms. McGee and Mr. Ahmed. I didn't know if you needed to hear from my client. I didn't know how.
Well, I think I do ever so briefly, but
Okay.
whatever's necessary.
Okay, thank you, Your
So-
Honor.
Mhm.
Okay, so
I think I know what they want, and I
first of all, Miss, can I call you Miss Egg? I always call you Alex, so I'm sorry. You've heard the testimony today. I just want to briefly, do you know when when HC's doctor appointments are coming up?
Yes, ma'am. June 2nd, arrival time is 10:15. Start time is 10:20. It's at, Dr. Peterson at UTMB. The second one is, give me just one moment. I'll have it. The first one was June 2nd. The second one is June 3rd, and it's, Dr. Maria at UTMB. The start time arrival time is 12:45 and start time is at 1. And then the third is June 3rd, UTMB occupational rehab, arrival time at 1:15, start time at 1:30.
Now, are those all in Galveston?
Yes, ma'am. They're all in Galveston.
So you have public transportation for that, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And is there another doctor's appointment that you're aware of?
30th and Webster.
Okay, what's your plan to get her there? If you have her on a
Karen Durand, the owner of the previous property we were at, she offered to take me and the baby.
And so she would be bringing you with you along with Hollis. Is that with HC, correct?
Yes.
And if she can't, for whatever reason, what would be your backup?
Cynthia or Uber, or I can call the public transit and set the appointment time 48 hours in advance.
Because you would know about it 48 hours in advance. That's something you can set up, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you have, and Cynthia's the one that you just sent me today because you just knew you kind of needed some backup today, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. As far as you have formula, you have diapers, and what's your plan going forward to make sure you always have those for your daughter?
We both have jobs. We're both employed, and if and when I get custody or am allowed to, I can go set up WIC for her formula.
And so that would help it be very helpful, wouldn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
And you were residing in your home prior to this new apartment since December 2024, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And now that you're in this apartment, yes, you've only been in here a short time, but you have a lease, don't you?
Yes, ma'am.
How long is your lease?
A year.
Is that income based?
They do like 50. It's not income based, but if and when I receive the voucher that I've applied for, they will take that.
And then the other thing is, I know right now we're here for HC, but later on you can move into a bigger apartment. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. I have talked to them, and they said when I receive that voucher, they will move me to a 2-bedroom with no problems.
But you have everything. You have everything that was in that picture. You have everything you need for HC to come home today, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Are you working today?
I'm supposed to be at work from 4 to 9, but I have let them know that I'm still in court.
Okay. Are they willing and able to work around your schedule?
Yes, ma'am.
And so do you typically, do you and Hollis work different shifts?
Yes.
So will there always...
Occasion, we've overlapped, but he has talked with his managers, and I have made it known to my manager that when we got the kids back, we would have to accommodate each other's schedule, and they have agreed.
And have you reached out to the workforce for some additional resources for daycare if needed?
I had plans to do that. I tried to find the application online, but I was unsuccessful. I did, however, before court, went and got Wi-Fi. That way we would have phone access, and I have now got an active line, so I will not be without a phone.
Because up until this point, you and Hollis were sharing a phone?
They were working off of Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
At your previous place, you had that, so you didn't have to worry about it.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct?
Correct.
Okay. But you fixed that today?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you ready, willing, and able to take on HC coming home?
Yes, ma'am.
And you've done everything you can to try to get that done, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
How are the visits going? Are they going great?
They're going great.
I know you've sent me pictures. I should have shared them with the court. Let's just suffice it to say she's absolutely adorable, Your Honor. But I'm going to pass you as a witness, unless there was something else you needed, but he wants it short and quick, so I'm passing you as a witness.
Thank you. Any questions from anyone for Ms. Cortez, starting with Ms. Kinsel, Mr. Keating, and Ms. Walker.
Not for me, Your Honor.
Not for me, Judge.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, Ms. Let me, Ms. Kinsel, if you will call your client, and we can maybe spend as much time with him, and then I need to hear importantly, but ever so briefly, from the courtesy worker and of course the guardian ad litem.
I wasn't planning on calling
And
Mr.
I don't believe
Collins.
Mr. Collins was sworn in.
No, and I didn't have a, I mean, if the court wants to hear from him, absolutely, I can ask him some questions, Judge, but I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to get off work in time to attend any portion of this
Okay.
hearing, and
That's
I too,
fine.
yeah, I want to hear from the courtesy worker.
So then why don't then you call the courtesy worker, Mr. We'll not hear from Mr. Collins unless someone else calls him. But if somebody does, and I'm not suggesting that, just help me remember that he has not been sworn in. So if Ms. Kinsel, if you don't mind calling the courtesy worker, and then Mr. Keating, perhaps Ms. McKee, and I would really like it that mom not be too terribly late for work today. So you may proceed, Ms. Kinsel.
Okay, I would like to call the courtesy worker, and I believe, sir, your name is it Ahmed O'Neill?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, may I call you Mr. O'Neill? Is that your first or last name?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I called him by his first name earlier. I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah.
So Mr. O'Neill, thank you. And Mr. O'Neill, he was sworn in, so you may proceed. And I know by now you know not to be driving, so thank you for that.
Yes, sir.
Sorry about my,
Mr. O'Neill, are you the courtesy worker for Hollis and Alex and this baby?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And are you appearing today voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
No one subpoenaed you, right?
No, ma'am, not to my knowledge.
Okay. Have you visited the apartment where the parents are living in?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any concerns
No,
about,
ma'am.
okay, about the apartment?
No concerns whatsoever. No, ma'am.
Have you been able to observe whether mom and dad have what it takes to take care of a baby?
I've only briefly saw them with Hollis at the hospital, and that was very briefly, but there were no concerns with that visit.
Oh, okay. So you've also had an opportunity to observe one of the parent-child visits?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And just going back to my other question, I'm sorry I wasn't clear. It's been a really long day, but when you went to the apartment for Hollis and Alex, did they have diapers and a pack and play, everything they need to take care of a baby?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And do you have any concerns about this child coming home to mom and dad?
No, ma'am. I don't have any concerns. I think I was primarily here. I could be overstepping my boundaries, but because I think I'm the only one that saw the apartment and saw that it was in great condition. It was brand new. It still smelled like new paint. They had just renovated seemingly the whole apartment, and it was in great condition, sitting right over the water with an excellent view. But yeah, just wanted to add that. I think that's primarily why I think I'm here, and I just kind of wanted to reiterate that point that the apartment's safe and very suitable for an infant.
Okay, thank you. Yes, and I'm just asking based on your involvement with the family. You're not being asked to override anyone else's testimony
Okay.
in any way, but based on your interactions with the family, do you have any concerns?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir. I'll pass the witness, Mr. O'Neill.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Mr. Keating, then Ms. Walker, then Ms. McPherson. If at all.
Mr. O'Neill, thank you for being here, especially since it's voluntary. That's all I have, Judge.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And so, Ms. Walker.
I think I lost him on my screen, but Mr. O'Neill, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, have you had, I guess, first of all, how much involvement have you had? Have you only seen the apartment? Is that the only time you met with the parents?
No, ma'am. We did go out and have some food for a couple of hours on another occasion, and then there was the time that I got to witness the visit with the baby at the hospital.
Okay, so you said y'all went out for food. I guess that's the first time I've heard taking parents out. But did you take them to dinner, or what was the scenario there?
Yes, ma'am. I did.
Okay, and you said that you observed a visit. Where was the visit?
At the hospital, UTMB in Galveston.
Okay, and how long were you there for the visit? Were you there the entire visit from start to finish?
No, ma'am. 15, 20 minutes. It was very short lived. I was there a short time.
Okay. Okay. All right. Now, how often would you be, well, let me ask this question. If the child was returned on a monitored return, would you still be the courtesy worker, or would there be another worker that would take over?
I'm unsure, but if I had to guess, I would guess that another worker would take over because I am covering for a lady who's out on maternity leave, and she may be back next month or the month after. But she is expected to come back. I'm covering her case.
Okay. But you think you'll be on at least for another month, more than likely?
It's hard to say, but that would be a safe period of time, I think, to guess.
Okay. All right. I have no further questions.
All right. Thank you, Ms. McPherson.
I have to ask Mr. O'Neill, and I hate to put this on you at all, but if the judge was to order that the child go home today or have an unsupervised weekend today, is there anybody that you know that would be able to transport the baby to their home?
I could possibly do that, but it would be a late evening transport as I do have to acquire an infant seat, and I do have two visits scheduled, and I have a child on CWAP that there's just a little bit going on today. But I think that I could swing it if we could do it around maybe 8:39 if the caretakers were up for a late visit to pick the baby up.
Okay, well, thank you for your candor and for you visiting with the family.
Absolutely. No, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Back to you, Ms. Kinstill.
Don't have any further questions or witnesses. I think Mr. Keating's going to call CASA Ms. McKee.
Okay. All right. There was a bit of a lag. Maybe it was on my end. Okay, Mr. O'Neill, thank you very much. And so either Ms. Kinstill or Mr. Keating, if you all will facilitate my hearing from Ms. McGee.
I'll call her, Nicole. I would call CASA Lori McGee, Your Honor. Would you state your name for the record and how you're associated?
Lori McGee, CASA advocate.
And Miss McGee, you're familiar with these parents, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Very familiar or just familiar?
I'm pretty familiar. I've made about 3 trips out to Galveston.
Okay, and you're also familiar with HC, aren't you?
Correct.
Just a straightforward question. Do you have any concerns if the judge were to grant a monitored return, even if it's modified, or start overnight weekend visits this weekend?
No, sir, I would have no concerns.
Do you believe it would be in the best interest of HC to start being returned to his parents?
Absolutely.
And can you tell the court quickly why you say that?
Well, I mean, the parents are doing a great job when they do get to see the baby, but there's been a lot of times that they've missed some of that bonding time with the baby that's important because this baby is little. So I think, and they're doing the steps. They're going through and they're doing their parenting classes and they've gotten jobs. And Alexander's gotten not one job but two jobs. I mean, she lost a job and then turned right around and got another job. And so they're really trying to do this, and
Do
they're
you-
doing
That's all right. Go ahead.
they're doing what's in the best interest of the child.
Do you have any concerns about their ability to transport either themselves or to get the baby to care if needed?
No, sir.
Have they shown you or do you have information that shows that they're able to do whatever they need to do to get around?
Yes, sir. They've managed to get back and forth to work. They get to the visits at the hospital and things like that.
And they come to court too, don't they?
Yes, sir.
Which is more than an hour away, isn't it? And court's more than an hour away, right, Miss McGee? Yeah, I think she froze on us, Judge. That's okay. I don't have any further questions unless you need any more information from her.
Well, let's, thank you very much. Let's see if we can get her back. Ms. McGee? All right, someone, if I recall, unsupervised visits were Tuesdays and Thursdays. Is that correct?
I believe that's right, Judge.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So is there is there an unsupervised scheduled for this Tuesday?
I would imagine, but I'm want
Ms.
to confirm
Cortez,
with.
you can unmute and tell me, Ms. Cortez. Were they frozen as well? Ms.
Yes,
McGee,
for the scheduled
you're
visit.
back? Okay, Ms. McGee, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Sorry about that.
Okay, not at all. Thank you. Do you know, is there an unsupervised visit scheduled Tuesday?
I am not 100% sure on that, but there should be.
Yes, I know there should be. Thank you. Ms. Cortez, can you unmute and tell me yes or no whether there's an unsupervised scheduled Tuesday?
Yes, there's an unsupervised scheduled Tuesday.
Okay.
I apologize. I was checking the calendar. There is one on my calendar. It says Cortez on Tuesday at 1:30.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Ms. Young. That was Ms. Young. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
But Ms. McGee, let me see if the attorneys have any other questions for you. So Mr. Keating, then Ms. Walker, then Ms. McPherson, then Ms. Kinstall.
I believe I don't have any other questions for Mr. McGee. Thank you, Lori.
I don't have any questions.
Okay, thank you.
Just Ms. McGee, just real quickly, do the parents have a plan, backup plans for childcare, transportation, and even hurricane preparedness?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you, when in going over that with them, do you agree that it meets the needs of this child if the child was returned home?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Kinstall.
I don't have any questions for Ms. McGee, but I thank her for
Okay.
money.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. In terms of the show cause hearing, and can you all hear me okay? In other words, am I not lagging?
You're good, Your Honor.
Okay. So in terms of the show cause hearing and what it is and why I asked for it, to show me, for the network to show me why it's not in the child's best interest to be returned to a parent today. It reminds me of a term that I learned in Latin class, ipse dixit. I didn't hear it again for 7 years until law school. It basically means mere assertions with no proof. And it's kind of what parents do when they can't think of anything else to say. It's because I said so. And so in terms of the show cause, that's by and large how I view what's before me today. We are all about protecting the children. But we're also almost 200 days into this case, and the parents have done exceedingly well. And as far as the court is concerned, based on the evidence, the best interest of the child and safety being paramount, I believe that they've demonstrated that they can provide, they're certainly willing and able at this point to provide a safe environment for the child. So I'm going to order the placement of the child HC with the parents. Ms. Kinstall, I'm going to take your motion for monitored return under advisement at this point. Were I to
Oh, now you're lagging.
today, it would only give us maybe okay. All right, so I've taken the motion for monitored return under advisement. Had I granted it today, in terms of how much extra time it would have given, it would only amount to about 1 or 2 days. So I've taken that under advisement. I've ordered placement of HC with the parents. Now, I appreciate Mr. O'Neill's willingness to go above and beyond to effectuate placement today. I can't have him do all of that. I'm sorry. I can't have our child. I imagine the child on the Gulf Freeway 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night going to Galveston tonight. I'm not going to do that. And I appreciate his willingness to do that, but he's got a whole lot on his plate tonight.
And I appreciate that.
And
Yes.
what I am going to do, and I'm certainly hoping that Mr. O'Neill and Ms. McGee don't go anywhere anytime soon. We need them. I am going to order that placement occur at 1:30 on Tuesday, when that unsupervised would have occurred. Now, that's going to give you about a day and a half, excluding the weekend, mom and dad, to try to get daycare in place and any supplies or things that you need before HC comes back home. Now, you can expect to continue to be monitored and your progress on your respective service plans will continue to be evaluated. You'll have to continue to work services, and most of all, you're going to have to do what Ms. Hafford and what Ms. Young stated, and that is maintain, right? Maintain your mental health, maintain your sobriety, maintain your jobs, maintain your apartment, maintain your being able to provide a safe environment for Hollis, and protect and provide and continue to bond increasingly with him. So that's the order of the court based on the best interest of the child, based on the evidence. Now, are there any questions in terms of clarification of my order? So what I'm ordering is placement back with the parents. I've yet to order a statutory monitored return. our next hearing is for a permanency review before final order, which is July the 30th at 9 a.m. Trial October the 29th at 9, dismissal date November the 10th of this year. So any clarification regarding what the court has ordered?
Your Honor, the only reason I'm raising my hand is, can my clients, or at least the mother, appear virtually July 30th? I believe that's the date of the appointment that's in Webster for the child.
She may. And yes, she may. And so may the father.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge, I do have a question to clarify, and you probably addressed this, but placement 1:30 p.m. on Tuesday, is TFCN to transport the child to the parents, or are they responsible for?
Whoever is scheduled to transport to that visit at 1:30 is to transport to the parents' apartment. I think both the hospital and the parents' apartment are all on the island, so it shouldn't be too much of a difference in time and distance. I might be mistaken, but so now so that's when de facto placement occurs. So if Ms. Hafford or somebody else needs to go and do official placement, then they can get there as soon as they can and do that. But instead of the child being transported to what would have been an unsupervised visit, now the child is being transported to the placement. And official placement, if that transportation is not done by Ms. Hafford and Ms. Hafford has to do the official placement, she can come whenever she can get there, but after placement at 1:30. So, Mom and Dad, you got a lot to do. I don't think we need to give you all any admonition in terms of co-sleeping. That will be given anyway, but I did see what I thought to be the place for bed there in that same room as well. So, all right, anything else in terms of what the court has ordered?
No, Your Honor. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll get to work.
I want to thank everybody. The parents are doing their job, and the network is doing its job, and attorneys, you're doing your job, and I'm trying to do mine. So I wish my Wi-Fi would do the same and work as well as all of you, but sometimes it does. Anything else?
Have a great weekend.
Thank y'all.
Okay,
Thank you all so much.
I've heard that it's Friday, so you all have please a great and a safe weekend. And if there's not anything else, we will stand adjourned. Thank
Have
you.
a good weekend, everyone.
Thank you, Judge.
Y'all too.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
All right, I believe we are all here now. Ms. Hinstel and Ms. Walker, yes.
Good morning, Judge. I'm so sorry. I was tied up in another hearing. It was supposed to be 15 minutes and that didn't happen.
That's quite all right. I certainly understand. We're not doing too badly. Ms. Walker, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. Are we ready on the Piercy matter? And do we need to consider stopping the live stream?
I think that would be a good idea, Your Honor. I would make that request in the interest of this child's privacy. This is really
All right.
sensitive issue.
Correct.
And no objection, Your Honor.
All right, so the court will so find, and furthermore, that there is an agreement to do so, and will at this time stop the live stream.